On August 21st, 2017, we experienced the Great American Solar Eclipse. These are our fifth grade memories. Introduce yourselves.
Oh, my name is Colin. Um,
My name is Anna Grace.
my name's Alex.
Okay, so Colin, Anna Grace, and Alex, you guys went somewhere on Monday. Where did you guys go?
We went to the Riverbank Zoo in South Carolina
Okay, and why did you go there?
to go see the eclipse and learn how the animals interact whenever the eclipse happens.
Okay, so what is this eclipse that we've been hearing about?
It only happens it happens every so often, but last time it happened all across America where you could see it completely was in the 1870s or something.
Yeah.
So, but it was huge and it was like a one in a lifetime experience, so that's why we went to it.
Okay, and Anna Grace, what happens during this eclipse?
Well, the moon goes over the sun.
Oh, okay. And so where you were in the path of totality, and that means that it's completely covered. The moon completely covers the sun. Why don't you guys tell me a little bit about that experience? Maybe your favorite part or what you saw.
Like I liked the part whenever we saw once we saw the moon was going like right at the sun, and I was excited. And then like when it got to total, I had my glasses on like after like a minute, and I got mad because I didn't see the full total eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
I still saw it.
I like the part when it was like you could see like most of it, but not like the whole thing. Like in the total of the 4 hours, through like every part you could see.
Mm-hmm.
I probably like when it was actually the eclipse, but to the point where it was completely dark, but where it was still like you could see light shining through in the sky. It wasn't completely dark.
Mm-hmm.
So
It didn't get like pitch black out,
no, it was.
but
like,
did it get pretty dark?
It
was
did get
probably
pretty
around
dark. right before the moon comes out.
Okay. So what did you guys notice about the animals?
The cicadas were going whenever the eclipse started. When the total came out, the cicadas went high, where they were chirping.
Okay.
I liked it. The monkeys went crazy.
Did they?
We were in there. I think she was in the same area as me. The gibbon. They were yelling before and after. They were going so crazy. So yeah.
So the monkeys were yelling. Were you guys yelling?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit
I heard the kids were pretty loud there too when it hit totality. So when you saw this, and you guys knew what was happening, right?
Yeah.
Because you'd study it in science class and things like that. But can you imagine being in ancient times and all of a sudden the moon covers up the sun? What do you think those people would have thought?
I think we've been hearing about folk tales and a lot, and if I was back there in the ancient times, I would be scared. I'll probably just be like shocked and probably stay inside my building and just I don't know.
I'd be like, what is this? Like, what just happened?
I have a feeling a lot of people would just freak out. I would know that. I would just run to wherever I could. And, I have a feeling a lot of rumors would go around, like the world is ending or something like this.
The man's eating the sun.
Yeah, so some of those folk tales you guys have been learning about come from things like that. That's really cool. Introduce yourselves.
Bradley.
I'm Emma. And I'm Molly.
Okay, so Bradley, Emma, and Molly, you guys got to see something pretty cool on Monday. What did you see?
The eclipse.
So, total solar eclipse.
Okay, so Molly, what's a total solar eclipse?
A total solar eclipse is whenever the moon goes in front of the sun.
All right, so that seems pretty awesome. Where were you when this happened?
I was in Columbia at the zoo.
Me too.
And I was at my Aunt Pat's in the zoo. Or not in the zoo, but in Columbia.
In Columbia. So you were all in Columbia, but you got to see it from some different places. You guys saw it from the zoo and you saw it from your aunt's house. So why don't you guys tell me about that experience? Maybe your favorite part or anything interesting that you noticed.
My favorite part would have to be when it went in totality because it kind of looked like a diamond, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Well, to me, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I thought it was really cool to see that.
Okay.
And for me, I like it whenever it's a total in the very middle because it looks super cool.
What does it look like?
It looks like the corona, yeah, the corona around it and the umbra in the middle. So the umbra is the black part and corona is the white stuff around it.
Okay. Bradley, what was your favorite part?
The diamond ring.
The diamond ring. So you guys say this diamond ring. What is this diamond ring about?
It's when it goes in totality, and that's when the umbra is completely dark and the sky goes dark and all of the animals think it's nighttime, so the crickets start coming out, and it's just really cool to see, and the corona shines bright like a diamond.
Oh. So Bradley, why do you think they call it the diamond ring?
Because it shines very bright and it's so yeah, it shines very bright, so like it looks like a diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
It's a ring.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what did you guys got to notice about the animals there? So what did you notice there?
I was by the sea lions, and when it got very dark, they started barking really loudly that night. I had to plug my ears.
And as I was hearing that, the monkeys went wild.
Oh, because you were near the zoo, right?
I heard them.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's loud.
No, okay, so same thing with Molly. Yeah, at night they started getting scared about all the people around it.
Mm-hmm.
So they started like barking,
Mm-hmm.
and Miss Willie said they.
This is the monkeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it might have been about danger because there's so many people.
Mm-hmm.
So when it happened,
Mhm.
the actual eclipse, they got down from their rock and they went back into their cave and started barking.
The other monkeys with the red butts, that's what they call them.
The baboons, yes.
But they said that they were going, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
The weird thing is that I didn't think that the flamingos would go crazy, but apparently they went crazy. I wasn't by the flamingos, but I heard that they were crazy.
Second grade was by the flamingos, and they had a really cool video. They went kind of nuts. Now, let me talk about these other animals that were witnessing the eclipse. The humans, were they loud?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And the group that I was in was with my friend Callie. She's on vacation right now, though. But we were like by the icy place, and we were also with 6th graders. We were the only two fifth graders, and the crowd just went crazy that my mom, because she was our chaperone, she had to go and get her out of the line and put her back on the steps.
Yeah.
She went to go get an icy.
I hear it was crazy. It was absolutely pandemonium down there. So you studied this in science before you actually got to go and see it, and we heard a lot about it and we knew what was happening. But can you think back to like if you were a person in ancient times and you didn't have the science behind this and you didn't have it on the news for weeks and weeks and weeks that this was going to happen? Can you imagine what you might have thought if you were just out and about one day and you saw the sun get completely covered up by the moon?
Yes.
Well, the Navajo Indians, they think that the sun died, and the Chinese think that a dragon is eating the sun.
And I think the Indians think that a demon ate the sun.
What do you think you would have thought?
I would have thought that it was the end of the world.
Yeah. The Navajo Indians, when they came out, like when the eclipse was in totality, we were reading the book called Sun Painters, and it says something about the eclipse, and they would come out and they would paint the world again.
Oh.
I don't know what that means, but that's just what it says.
Bradley, what do you think? How would you have reacted back then?
Back then,
I
I would have think it would have been crazy. I would have been excited.
think you would have been excited. Yeah, you can see where, without all the science behind it, how it could have been the scary thing. So it's good that you guys know that stuff. Anything else you want to add?
Well, like your question, if I was back there, like in ancient times, I would probably think that either the sun had fallen and was just going into maybe like a wormhole in space or something.
Okay.
And also, don't go crazy. It's just a moon glowing over the sun. It's only lasting for like a few minutes.
If you don't know what an eclipse is, it's just where the sun is, no, where the moon is covering up the sun.
It's the sun, here's the moon.
And it just makes a shadow on Earth. It's okay.
So it's nothing to be scared of. It's more something to be excited about.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your memories. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Malachi, and I love going to the trip to the zoo, seeing the eclipse, and my favorite part was listening to the gorillas act crazy.
Awesome.
My name is Jason, and I had lots of fun on the field trip just watching that solar eclipse.
My name is Pierce. I had two favorite parts. One where the lemurs went crazy, and the other where the eclipse was in totality.
Okay, well, you guys were so excited. You jumped right into what I was going to ask you. So you went to the Columbia Zoo on Monday to see the total solar eclipse. What is a total solar eclipse?
A total solar eclipse is when the sun and the moon and the earth is all lined up, and the moon's in the middle, and like the moon blocks the whole footage of the sun. All you can see is the sun's corona.
Okay, so what was that like to see that?
It was awesome.
It was awesome. Like, literally, you just saw a big black spot, and around you just saw white and some purple, which was the solar flares or prominences if it was going out farther.
Okay.
What was the question again?
What was it like to see that? What did you observe?
The solar flares, the solar prominences. I think I only saw one planet. I think it might have been Venus.
So did it get dark enough to actually see some other things?
Yeah, some stars. We saw the arteries or something like that. It's like, I forgot how you spell it, but it's one of those big stars.
What were the animals doing?
Nuts. They go nuts.
I was somewhere near the entrance of the zoo, so I never heard them. So I don't know.
I wasn't close to any animals.
Pretty much, yeah, I'm the only one. Like, the animals, like, they were acting like they were acting at night. And, like, some of the animals, like panda bears and owls, they would start coming out more than it was during the day and stuff like that.
So there were some animals that the two of you were close to. You were close to other humans. Were they pretty loud?
Yeah, at me, whenever the total solar eclipse happened and went off, everybody was like,
Yeah, they
yeah!
were shouting.
I started counting down, and then they all started.
Counting down. Cool.
No, I counted down once it was totality. They just.
Everybody was screaming and yelling, I hear. So who do you think were louder, the animals or the humans?
Humans.
Animals.
Humans for sure. Me.
I couldn't even hear the animals.
Well,
Me either.
it sounds like you guys had a really good time. You guys studied this, right, beforehand? Okay, so you guys knew about what you were doing and what was happening. Can you imagine back in ancient times what would have happened if you were just a farmer out in your field and all of a sudden the sun got covered up? How would you have felt, you think?
We also learned about ancient myths, which could folktales, which could explain that. It was Chinese. Ancient Chinese believed that a dragon ate the sun. I forgot. Another one was
Connect to this one?
Alright, and one was one that a demon ate it, that he didn't have no body, so it went through him, and one more was about a boy, and that he, his dad, like the Nachihai, they were named Nachihai, they had like colored the earth again and stuff.
Okay.
And for me, if I was a farmer, I would have thought, whoa, how did it get so dark all of a sudden? Why can I not see the sun how it usually would be? Why is it looking like this? Why is everything coming out? Is the world ending?
She'd be scared with a lot of questions, huh? Yeah, you might think that you're all going to die. Absolutely. It would have been crazy, I'm sure. But it's a good thing that we have all this science and that we get to learn about all this, so that instead of being scared during an eclipse, we can be happy and in awe. Anything else you want to add about your trip or anything?
Oh, like we got there fast, but on the way home, it was miserable.
Yeah, it was like 5 or 6 hours.
I created something to pass the time.
Oh yeah, he created a hammock. He used his blanket and tied between the 2 chairs.
And he made a fort.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like even though it took a long time, you guys still had a little bit of fun coming back too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your memories. Introduce ourselves.
Okay. I'm Carson. I'm Grayson. I'm Addison.
Okay, Carson, Grayson, Addison. So some pretty big stuff happened Monday. What happened?
There's an eclipse. A solar eclipse.
Okay, so there was a solar eclipse. Where were you when the solar eclipse was going on?
I was at the zoo. Yeah, the zoo, South Carolina. I was in Pennsylvania or coming back from Pennsylvania.
Okay, so I know that you two boys went on the class trip to the South Carolina, to the Columbia Zoo. Where were you in the zoo when the eclipse happened?
We were right beside the 8 monkey things.
So what was your favorite part of that experience?
I liked whenever the monkeys started like singing. They're like
No.
doing a rap or something.
They were doing a rap?
Yeah, it sounded
Sound
like
like
it.
it was
Do.
Now, when did that happen? Did it happen when it started, or was it only during the darkness part?
It was like at the beginning. It was at the beginning, and they stopped whenever the total eclipse happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then they wouldn't do it again after that
Why do you think that they were being so loud and crazy?
because there were so many people. Just they weren't. I don't know. There were just so many people.
Who was crazier, the kids there or the monkeys?
I think the monkeys.
You think the monkeys? Who was louder?
The monkeys.
The monkeys. All right. So Addison, you were coming back from Pennsylvania, so you didn't get to see the full eclipse because it was out of the path of totality. But you have learned a lot about the eclipse over the last few weeks, haven't you? What's your favorite thing that you've learned, or the most interesting thing that you've learned?
Well, how where the Earth cast the shadow, and it was just like a switch swap on how it could happen every 50 years, but now since it's going earlier and earlier, we get to see it more.
Really? I did not know that. So think back to, you guys have learned, you've had guest speakers come in, you've had stuff in each one of your classes about the eclipse. You guys were ready for that eclipse. But think if you were an ancient person, like way back in ancient times, maybe a farmer out in their field, how do you think you would have perceived the eclipse, being that you didn't have the news to tell you that it was coming and you didn't have the science to tell you what it was?
I think that the sun would be like disappearing, I guess. Yeah. It was like exploding or something, and then it just
I probably think we wouldn't have any suns left where we couldn't see anything.
I would think it like something like blew up, or the sun blew up.
So you would definitely think that it was something to be scared of, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that we have all this science that we know what the eclipse was so that we could really enjoy it. Anything else you want to add about the eclipse or your travels or anything?
My favorite part was when it was the blue diamond ring.
On the way back from Pennsylvania, I did see just a little bit of it. It almost covered, but it didn't really cover like most of it. It was like that much left from the sun moon thing. The eclipse, it about had that much left of it, and then it just went back. It started getting dark, and then it raised back up, and then it started getting light.
I liked it whenever the crescents on the ground, they started to get like small, like more thin from the trees. It was cool.
When you saw the partial eclipse, what did that remind you of?
The moon, like it. Well, it looked like the moon because I didn't really know what the difference between it was right then, because I didn't know if this was the moon or the sun. And then I saw just a little bit of the moon coming in through the sun. I was like, now I know the difference between it, so now I figured out which one was which, and it kind of looked like a sun, but it was yellow, so I figured out it was the sun.
Okay, that's awesome. Anything else? Introduce ourselves.
Hi, my name is Kylie.
Hi, my name is Kara.
Hi, my name is Riley.
And you guys all got the chance to go on a pretty cool adventure on Monday. Where'd you guys go?
To Columbia, South Carolina.
At the zoo.
Why?
For the solar eclipse.
Okay, so I've heard all about the solar eclipse. What is it?
Well, it's when the sun is here and the earth is here and the moon comes in between and the moon shadows directly on the earth and it goes across and it lasts about like 2 minutes or so and like there's like the path of totality which it came in and it hit it directly at South Carolina and we thought that was the best view so we decided to go there.
Awesome. So why don't you guys tell me a little bit about your trip? Tell me some interesting things or maybe your favorite part.
Well, one of my favorite parts, well, to see the animals was really cool, and, to see how they interact whenever they think it's still daytime, and then whenever the sun's blocked, because they kind of have the routine before they go to sleep and when they wake up, and it's just really cool to see, like, how it looked with the sun behind the moon and all the lights coming on. It's really fun.
My favorite part is going to have to be like this total solar eclipse because it was an amazing experience to see because it was only going to happen in our generation. And it was just an amazing experience.
My favorite part was getting to see the animals and how they act whenever it's like night, like where it gets dark because it's like they like get ready to go to sleep and 1 minute later they have to like get back up. So it's like funny and how like the monkeys, how they like reacted, they went like started going crazy.
So they were going crazy. Were you guys going crazy?
Well, not a little bit. I kind of thought it was really like, oh my gosh, look at this. You probably won't see this until maybe your children have grandchildren or something. So
Yeah,
you're really excited.
It's like really cool to see it as like you're a child.
Mm-hmm.
You see like how you see some people, they might see the sun every day and the moon at night and just look at how this is like the moon has literally put itself in front of the sun and made up like a big, like what they call the corona and then the umbra. It's just a really cool experience.
Awesome. So you learned a lot about the eclipse beforehand. So you knew what to expect. But can you imagine what would happen if you were a person back in ancient times and you saw this eclipse happen? What might you think?
Well, I'd probably be like, whoa, what just happened to the sun? Because it's daytime.
I would probably say, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, because like it would be like dark and you'd be like, what happened? It's like the sun is gone. What happened to it?
Something really big to experience. They're probably thinking like
Something ate the sun or something like that.
Like the sun just maybe ran out of all its brightness, or something happened to it, or maybe the moon might have gone, maybe the sun might have gone. Both of them kind of.
So we're really lucky to be able to live in a time where we're not scared of the eclipse, but we get to be excited of it. All right. Do you guys have... All right, introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's Zane. My name's Ty. My name's Avery.
Okay, Ty, Zane, and Avery. Some big stuff went down on Monday. What happened?
So we were in the zoo in South Carolina, and we were in the apes, me and Ty, and they were acting really crazy when it turns to night. But then that's when the solar eclipse happened, so it just turned dark, and they're like just going on each other, like hitting each other and all that. And we saw the crescents like on the ground, the shadow, and all that. And then when it was full totality, we saw like the Bailey bees and the diamond effect, and that was pretty cool.
So you're really excited. You just jumped right in. So what happened is the solar eclipse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were at the zoo, Zane. Where were you, Ty?
At the zoo. Well, me and Zane were in the same group, so the same thing happened. What Zane said.
Okay, and Avery, where were you?
My house.
Okay, so your house here in Lumberton? Okay, awesome. So what was your favorite part of seeing the eclipse?
The moon going over it.
Why was that so neat?
Because it was just getting darker and darker.
It was getting darker and darker. Did it get fully dark here? Okay. What did it look like?
Well, it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon here. Like it looked like.
Okay. What about you, Ty? What was your favorite part?
I just like seeing the total eclipse, like, because I know it's like a once in a lifetime experience, and I just really wanted to pay attention to it and see like what it looked like during the total solar eclipse, and it just looked really cool.
That's awesome. What were the animals doing?
They were like acting really crazy.
They were, huh?
And the birds were like chirping in the morning when it was turning to day. It was like after the moon was after covering the sun. The birds were chirping like in the morning and all that. So yeah, but the apes were like crazy though, and then they start making louder and louder noises as it gets darker and darker.
Okay. And Avery, did you notice anything about the animals here?
Well, I have 2 dogs, which they didn't really act about anything, but
Did you hear anything?
I heard, like, them, like, the bugs.
The bugs that come out at night, like the cicadas and stuff?
Yeah, that's what we think too.
Very cool. All right, so in ancient times, they didn't know about eclipse. They didn't know about eclipses. They didn't know about astronomy or anything like that. So if you guys were just, farmers out in your field in ancient times, and all of a sudden the sun went over, or the sun had this overcast all of a sudden, and the moon went over the sun, what would you have thought?
Like, what's gonna happen? Like, is the planet dying or something like that? But now we have technology, so I would have thought like, well, it's the end of the world. We're all gonna die.
I would have thought both of those, where we have technology now, but I was like, oh no, it's the end of the world, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, it would be pretty shocking sight to see if you didn't know what it was. All right, so you guys think you want to see another eclipse?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All right, 7 more years.
Yeah.
You gonna be ready for it?
Yeah. I think
All
we're seeing a lunar eclipse in about 2 months. I mean, not 2 months. Next year. in
Oh,
January.
cool! A lunar eclipse. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your memories. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
My name's Victoria.
And my name is Carrie.
Okay, so something big happened on Monday. What happened?
The solar eclipse.
And what is a solar eclipse?
It's when the sun and the moon covers the sun.
All right, so the sun and the moon covers the sun. Where were you?
I was near the flamingos. They were acting crazy.
Okay, so you were near the flamingos at the Columbia Zoo. Where were you?
I was at the Columbia Zoo too, and I was right in the middle of it. So it was really cool seeing it.
Awesome. So, girls, why don't you tell me what your favorite parts were?
My favorite part was when it was like dark and there's still light showing through the moon.
Okay. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was when you just look up without your glasses at totality, and you can see the moon covering the sun. It's like so cool. It was dark in the middle of the day, so it was amazing.
How did the animals react?
They were crazy. The flamingos were flapping their wings, making noise. The people were hollering. It was crazy.
Did you see any crazy animals?
Yes, I did actually. I could the most thing I could hear is the lions and the apes. They kept on going and going and going and going. Even when the totality was over, they kept on going and going. It was just crazy.
Why do you think that they were so vocal at that point in time? Why were they so loud?
Maybe they were scared.
Maybe they were scared. That they don't get the news. They don't know that it's the solar eclipse coming. So, was there anything else interesting that you got to see?
Well, yes, actually. Well, you can just hear in the middle of the day, you just see a total eclipse while it's dark and everything just going on, and you won't see this like most of your life. So it's really amazing to just see it.
That's awesome. So, ladies, I've been asking people what they think they would have done if they were back in ancient times before we knew what an eclipse was. What do you think you would have done if you were just out doing your thing and you saw an eclipse?
I would be like, oh my goodness gracious, the end of the world's coming. God's coming back.
I would have said, wow, oh my goodness, this is just regular. There's a moon coming in the middle of the day. We're just going to die right now. It's at the end of the world.
Yeah, it probably would have been pretty scary for them back then. So, yeah, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I took a video of the flamingos.
You did take a video of the flamingos? Awesome. Maybe we can share that.
I would have said, like, you won't see this most of the rest of your life. So this is like that was an opportunity on that day, just seeing this total solar eclipse.
So you're definitely going to recommend seeing an eclipse to people?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, ladies. Our 3rd through 5th grade team. Why don't you ladies introduce yourselves?
I'm Jen Whitley from Language Arts.
Erin Pravat, Math.
Pam Keltner, Science and Social Studies.
Okay, so Monday, big, huge thing happened. What happened?
We had the total solar eclipse of 2017.
And what did you guys do to celebrate this amazing eclipse?
We spent all day with our kids and their families, and it was awesome and amazing.
We got to see animals at the zoo. We got to see the total eclipse. It was wonderful. We took a bus trip, didn't have to drive. We had snacks, and we got to see a once-in-a-lifetime event.
It was breathtaking. It was a breathtaking event, and the zoo staff and the zoo itself was just a great place to be able to witness it.
So what were your favorite parts? I mean, you guys were there as teachers, but you were also there, as just regular people witnessing this amazing event. What was your favorite part of that?
Well, the event itself, I mean, it's once in a lifetime. You kind of look at the sky a little differently these days, but one of my favorite parts was watching the students and how excited they were to be able to experience that, not only with my own child who goes to see, but also with my students and get their point of view from, 8, 9-year-old kind of point of view.
It's sort of fun as an adult and sort of as a teacher to talk about the diamond ring effect, but to hear your students and you sort of at the same time really discover it and go, oh my gosh, that was the diamond ring, and then all of a sudden we were in complete darkness, it was amazing to be able to discover at the same time that they did. Pretty cool.
They've talked a lot about the diamond ring in the interviews.
Mm-hmm. And we, getting to actually see this, we spent the week talking about the different parts of the eclipse and what was going to be happening, but to actually see it ourselves, and then to see when we were in totality, the way everything changed, and then to see the kids' reactions too. That was one of the best parts to me, not just seeing the blackened sun, but the way the kids were reacting, because they all thought it was awesome. They were so excited to be there.
And we're at this really cool age where, they're learning so much and soaking up so many things. I've heard so much about science and the numbers behind it and the folklore behind it. So you guys really front-loaded a lot of that information. Was that hard to do, or was it something really enjoyable?
One nice thing about this teaching community is that it truly is a community. There's a lot of parent support on the front end from the trip standpoint, but even from a teaching standpoint in our classroom. One of our parents helped us arrange guest speakers prior to the trip. So we were able to have Dr. Deruta from UNCP, and we were able to have Dave Gavashi from RCC come and provide little expert guidance with the event. So our 3rd and 4th graders looked into a telescope to see the sky and to see the sun before they ever saw the eclipse. Our 5th graders had a lecture from a university level scientist, and so not only did they get sort of the way we would as teachers give them the book sense and the notes on it all, but they also had an opportunity to have guest speakers ahead of time, and then Erin arranged for Ken Brandt to come afterwards to break it down. So our kids have seen the learning for the eclipse. They've seen it before, during, after. They've seen it from us. They've read it in books. They've read it online, as well as to get it from experts. So it's just been it's been a complete package.
That's awesome. Is there anything you'd like to add about your trip or your experience?
I'd do it again.
Yes, I hope.
Tenfold.
I think that's the biggest piece that we've heard echoed from the participants is that as hard as the trip was ahead of time, or as nervous as we were about all the challenges, I had more teachers come up on the way out of the trip as we got on the bus to say, thank you for pushing us to do this. It was awesome. We had so many parents respond in such awesome ways. And it's a trip that it's really hard for all of us as a group to get on the same page. And there were lots of ways that our kids, even if they didn't attend the trip, to participate in the event. Here at school, they did amazing things here at school that were hands-on and fun. If they went with their parents somewhere, you know, they went really cool places. You know, we had kids out on boats in the middle of the eclipse. We had kids in the middle of the woods. I mean, it really was an event that even if you didn't go on the field trip, we had so many other connections to it that our kids had. So we are really grateful for the way everybody kind of dug in and just participated in it and really just kind of blew it out, like took advantage of every opportunity that we could.
All right. Well, that is awesome. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your memories.